Today we're headed to Budapest, Hungary. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. Full of wonderful people, things are relatively cheap for Europe, there's great culture, the city's gorgeous. Which brings me to say, I'm about to go list off some of my favorite things to do in the city, but one of the things I forgot is the best thing to do in Budapest is simply walk around or possibly drive around, bicycle around, just experience the city itself. The streets are alive. Everything is gorgeous. It's such an awesome place to spend time. And one of the things I got to mention in this clip where I'm walking you around telling you my favorite things to do in Budapest is my absolute favorite thing to do is spend time in what people call the ruin bars, the best of which is Szimpla Kert. So I'm going to tell you some of my favorite things to do in the city, and then we're going to go around and show you what they are. Here's my personal short little hit list of places absolutely not to miss when you're in Budapest. You absolutely have to go to Fisherman's Bastion, and you have to go to the Buda Palace. It is beautiful. It might be Buda Castle. They're both up on Castle Hill on the Buda side of the river, and they're incredible. Pretty much everything else I'd recommend is on the Pest side of the river. The Parliament building is incredibly gorgeous. You can only go in with a guided tour, and since we always have the doggy with us, honestly, I've never been inside the Parliament building. The market on the Pest side is also incredibly gorgeous and well worth it. And most of the rest of the things that I'd really recommend are either in the Jewish quarter or towards the river from the Jewish quarter. Between the Jewish quarter and the river, you kind of hit like the really pretty old town with the big walkways and the garish Austro-Hungarian buildings. It's really pretty. In the Jewish quarter, you'll find the best food in the city, in my opinion. Well worth spending some time there. Definitely eat. If you're going out for drinks, Jewish quarter again would be my spot. Also in the Jewish quarter is the Synagogue, of course, and the Synagogue here in Budapest is gorgeous. The last thing I'd super recommend is doing a night tour on a boat. They just drive around the river and you see the city under all of the lights. It's really, really gorgeous and definitely well worth it. As a last piece of advice, most cities I wouldn't do the hop on hop off, but Budapest is a big enough city, especially if you're on a limited time frame like less than 4 days, I would definitely do the hop on hop off. It's kind of the only way that you'll get to see all of the things. The city's big enough, it's kind of a maze if you don't know where you're going. This is our 4th time here, and it's kind of the first time I have any idea where we're going without looking at Google Maps. And I almost forgot. The other place I'd really recommend is the Citadel. It has the best view, in my opinion, from up on the hill over the top of the city. The Citadel itself is also beautiful, but it's under reconstruction right now in 2025, and it seems like it's going to be that way for a long time. Still, there are a couple little outlooks that you get a really beautiful view over the city. I'd recommend it even though you can't walk around the actual Citadel itself. One of the clear and obvious must-do things here in Budapest is come up to Buda Castle. It's truly incredible, and if you make your way to the back end of the hill, like away from the river, you end up in this little plaza. In the summer, there's like kiosks. Get yourself a drink, get yourself some great food. It's an awesome place to hang out. Back in the same spot, you'll also find the riding hall, be beautiful. So let's go check it out. I'll show you. If you're still here, I'd really appreciate that subscribe, and I'll do my best to make sure that I'm putting out quality content every week. Where Buda Castle is a museum with paid entrance, the riding hall is free to come in. And you can see it's small, just some little thing to see. Big, expansive windows. You could picture the royalty of the past riding around their horses. So looking towards the river from Budapest Castle, you get this amazing view over the Danube. And you can see some of the major tourist things of the city. On the left here is the Parliament building, and the middle is the chain bridge, which is the first bridge that was built across the Danube at this part of the river. It's kind of a really interesting history that right here we're on the Buda side, on the other side is the Pest side, and pretty deep into European history, there were 2 separate cities until that bridge was built. The chain bridge connected the 2 sides of the city and made the city Budapest as we know it today. So if you go to Buda Castle, where we are here, do not miss out on this beautiful fountain. It's kind of on the back end of the palace, above that little terrace where I showed you with the riding hall and everything, informally known as the Trevi Fountain of Budapest, and it's so beautiful. If you're ever in Budapest, you have to come see Fisherman's Bastion. So behind me, this is like the churches and things that are in the middle of Fisherman's Bastion, which is like a bulwark that's over there by the Danube. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful architectural designs in all of Europe. It's like there's a short list of what might be the most beautiful little constructions in Europe, little places. And to me, this is definitely on the list. So let's go check it out. So here we're at Fisherman's Bastion at like around noon, and you can see it's just covered with crowds of people. Like, it doesn't look all that bad, but it's kind of because I try to avoid it and I don't go super close to like trying to get those river views. If I went up to any of those portals, they're just packed full of people. Which is all just to say, if the only time you can come to Fisherman's Bastion is the middle of the day, great, like you're gonna love it, it doesn't matter. But if you can avoid it, my super recommendation is to show up early in the morning. Budapest is a massive city, and it feels like it when you're here. It's also overrun with tourists, so it's best to get out early in the morning if you want to avoid the crowds. I'm up here at Fisherman's Bastion, and you can see I'm hardly alone. It's 8 a.m. right now. It's way better than at like 11 or noon. Really, honestly, get out early. You'll enjoy the city way more. And of all the places you could hit early, Fisherman's Bastion is my recommendation. I think it's the place that kind of gets the most overrun, right up there with the palace. And they're kind of next to each other up here on Castle Hill. So my recommendation would definitely be get out early, come hit up Fisherman's Bastion, maybe you go to the palace next. And the rest of the city is going to be a bit crowded. That's all right. I mean, it's a city anyway. Up the hill above the bridges, above Gellert Hot Springs, you'll find like this massive statue. You can see a few coming up the cliff face. It's steep to get up here, but it is well worth it. As you can see behind me, one of the best views over Budapest. You gotta check it out. Unfortunately, on this trip, we had some thunder showers and rain, but rain means rainbows, and this is so pretty. I love it. So in order to find the Citadel, this is the statue you're gonna look for, the one on the very top of the hill. Here in the middle of the hill, you'll find ones that's closer. It looks way more beautiful because you can see a lot more detail in it, but that's the hill. And you can see how big this hill is. That's why you get that beautiful sweeping view over the city. So when you're walking the city of Budapest, just make sure you look up at the beautiful details in the buildings. You're walking down some mundane street and dodging traffic, and at the same time, you look up and you just see things you would not expect to see in most places. Near the end of the video here, in order to try to give you some idea of the layout of the city, I'm going to show you a big run that I went on, and I'll show you how things are connected in what way. Maybe you'll have a shot of understanding how to get to the things that are beautiful that you want to see. This is the facade of the main central market of Budapest, and it's rad. It's a beautiful place to go in, both to shop and to eat. Things are legit local. It's not like kitschy and touristy. It's real. I really thought that I already had video of the inside, but you're just gonna have to show up and check it out for yourself. Until I went to Subotica in Serbia, right on the border between Serbia and Hungary, I thought the Budapest Synagogue was the prettiest one I'd ever seen. And this is the facade from the outside. Again, I thought that I had footage from the inside, but you're just gonna have to come and see it for yourself. Just on the note of ruin bars, if you're walking around the Jewish quarter, you'll find little funky things like this. My wife and I were just crossing through this alleyway, and you see the tiles on the ground here are wooden, and it just opens into this crazy little funky courtyard. Everything here is like this, and it's rad and beautiful. I love it. So all of this is Szimpla Kert, and you can tell it is just madness. My understanding is this was kind of like a dilapidated warehouse area in the Jewish quarter, and there was like bohemians and artists and whatever that just kind of took over the area, a little bit like Christiania in Copenhagen. And so it's just filled with like art and cool things and madness, and it's rad. It's definitely the place that you probably don't want to bring children at night, but in the day you'd be surprised at how family friendly it is. On Sundays, they even have like a Sunday brunch. I would say no matter who you are, this is well worth checking out. Honestly, it is my favorite thing to do in Budapest is to come to Szimpla Kert. There are other ruin bars that are also very cool. In my experience, none of them are nearly as cool as Szimpla Kert. At night, of course, it's a big crowded party. There's like maybe a dozen bars inside. There's a place to get a shisha or hookah in the back. It used to be in the front, so like it's very alive and things move around over time. But definitely you should come to Szimpla Kert. I'm just saying, if you don't want like party style, you should come early in the day. And if you do, you should come late at night. Either way, this is one of the top things to do in the city. You cannot miss it. As I've mentioned, some of the best food in the city is in the Jewish quarter. And so this is Caravan. It's like a line of taco trucks that's just outside of Szimpla Kert. In my experience, like the food is fine, but it's a little overpriced, and you can get food for the exact same price just down the street in a real restaurant that's probably better. You want my recommendation? Just around the corner, there's a place called Ghetto Goulash. It is amazing, but you'll need a reservation. So if you take the night cruise, the city views from the river are just so gorgeous. You cross under all these bridges, you're looking up at the city lights. Here's Buda Castle. It's so beautiful. And here's the Parliament building. It's really, really unique. I don't think I've seen many things like it anywhere ever. With like the big Gothic spires and all that, it's just rad. It's something you really have to do. I would absolutely recommend, if you have time, definitely take a boat tour at night. So here I'm going to try to show you around the city a little bit. I'm leaving on a run in the morning from kind of the south end of the city near the market, and I'm going north so you can see across the river here we get all kinds of views of Buda Castle. It's gorgeous. And on the right, this is the area I was talking about. It's kind of like the Old Town area. On the other side of the Old Town area is the Jewish quarter. Of course, running with a doggy is so frustrating and so awesome. So every time we cross grass, she's gonna roll around in the grass. I call this the puppy weight sled. So all of this is like that Old Town area I was talking about. There's like big walking areas. There's a lot more green than you'd think, but inside this Old Town area, there isn't that much green. It's kind of like around the sides of it. So now I'm crossing the bridge going over towards the Buda side from the Pest side. You can see the Citadel up above as we cross. As soon as you cross the river on this bridge, all of a sudden there's all of this greenery and these weird, beautiful statues. It's awesome. So here we're looking up to Buda Castle from the Danube, and you can see there's all these like terraced grass places. I'll show you what it's like to run through it just a little bit. From this side, you get the really beautiful views of the Parliament building. And you can see it's just such a beautiful city. And now I've turned around and I'm heading back towards the palace. So this is one of the best parts of the palace, is actually on the side of the palace towards the Danube coming up, because you have all these terraced grassy areas and ivy covering everything. There's like a few bars and restaurants in this area. It's really, really cool. And considering you're like basically inside the palace grounds, it's less expensive than you'd think. Who would have thought there's a statue of George Washington in Budapest? I'm not like the most patriotic person, but I'm super into it, love it. This was another run me and my doggy went on. We just ended up in this park and there's like a castle with a moat around it and all of these monuments. It's so gorgeous. No matter where you go in the city, you just run into beautiful things. And lastly, just for fun, I thought I'd throw up here. There's like these open air taxis that you can get a ride in. They'll take you around. I've only seen them on the Buda side of the river, but the Buda side, they're taking you like through the palace grounds and up towards Fisherman's Bastion or up to that beautiful view of the Citadel. If you're just tired of walking, it's a great way to do it. And it's really just because it's open air. So here you go. I hope you enjoy the views. So while Budapest is this incredibly beautiful city, just to the south across the border in Serbia, there's a city that's covered with this Hungarian secessionist style like Art Nouveau architecture called Subotica. After being there, it's a small city, like bordering on being a huge village. But it might be just as pretty. If you're interested, here's a link.